Hello, everybody. This is AG here, and welcome once again to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we are here for the first day of single car qualifications for the 10th running of the Indianapolis 250. We are excited to see who will be the 9 drivers going for the pole tomorrow, and also cautiously excited to see who will be part of Bump Day tomorrow as well. And then we'll also set positions 10 through 27 for next Saturday's big race, which is May 27th at noon Eastern Time, the green flag for the Indianapolis 250. But before we get to any of that, we have to set the starting lineup in 2 days to determine it here. And we begin today with all 36 entries going out onto the racetrack to complete one lap. The fastest 9 will go to the Fast 9 tomorrow and go for the pole. The slowest 9 will have to do it again tomorrow, and the slowest 3 in that session will fail to qualify. And like I mentioned, positions 10 through 27 determined in the starting grid for the Indianapolis 250 here today. We have ourselves, 36 drivers, like I mentioned, and the qualifying order on your screen right there, determined by the practice speeds that we had yesterday in the main Indy 250 practice session. They are going from slowest to fastest in practice yesterday. The slowest driver in practice was Tanner Partin, and then Ace Garcia and Benny Moore will be right out after he will. And you see the rest of the order right there. And at any time throughout the day, you can reference the qualifying order in the description. There you will see the order in which these guys will qualify here for this year's Indianapolis 250. This is the 5th year that we have done single car qualifications for this race, and we have seen so many fascinating things happen in this qualifying session, and of course in the Fast 9 and Last 9 shootout, and I anticipate that we're going to see more of the same this year, and it's going to be intense to see who will make it in and who will have to fight another day to make it into the Indianapolis 250. Of course, a lot of drivers looking to make their first ever start in this race, and some others who have been in this race for many, many years, including guys like Nicolas Samudio, John Andrews, Justin Zajdel, Ace Garcia, Christian Master, Noah Clifton, all of those drivers attempting their 6th or more Indianapolis 250s this year, and they will all be going out here. But for guys like Justin Zajdel and Christian Master, they have failed to qualify for this race in the past, and I know for those drivers, they do not want that to happen this year. It's going to be very fascinating to see how it all goes down. We're all leading up to the last driver, Skylar Taylor, an Indy 250 only driver making their first attempt at this race. They will be the last ones to go out here in single car qualifications today. By the time we get to Skylar, we will absolutely know who's going to be a threat to win the pole and who may be in contention to fail to qualify for this race. It's going to be intense, and I'm going to stop talking about it right now. Let's get the first driver out there, Tanner Partin in the number 24 for Nathan Orman Motorsports. Let's see what the benchmark is as our first lap of the day is about to commence. Here we go. Our first driver here in the 2023 Indianapolis 250 qualifying session. Single car qualifying, everyone completing one lap under speed. See if they can make it into that Fast 9. And of course, we'll lock positions 10 through 27 here today. It'll be fascinating to see what the benchmark's going to be. It is a cloudy day and mid-70s here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I would anticipate these times being a little bit faster than what they were in last year's first day of qualifying, mainly because of the overcast skies. So we'll see what type of lap Tanner Partin puts down here for Indianapolis 250 qualifying. Tanner Partin comes into this race 13th in the point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series. 219 across the line, 220. Gonna barely tap 221. Gonna minimize there at 213. We'll have to see 221 there for Tanner Partin in the turn at number 1 and a minimum of 213 off the exit of turn number 2. So clearly these times are going to be much faster, but much faster than the backstretch. Partin's going to hit 226 there in the turn number 3. And very quick there through turn number 3. Minimizes at 216. And a minimum speed of 212, just barely tapped 211. And we'll have to see what Tanner Partin is going to put down here. First lap in Indy 250 qualifying, 40.911 for Tanner Partin. That was already faster than all the times that we had in the first day last year. We'll have to see where that ends up standing as we go throughout the qualifying session. Next driver in line, Ace Garcia in the number 27. Number 27, Ace Garcia, next driver out onto the racetrack. And of course, as always, the weather conditions identical for each of these 36 drivers here in single car qualifications. Everyone has an equal opportunity at getting the same time, so no advantages on the weather or the racetrack in that regard. Even though, if this were real life, that actually would change as the session goes along. But want to make it as fair as possible for all 36 entries, especially considering that 3 of them will fail to qualify. Ace Garcia here, looking to run in his 6th Indianapolis 250. Best finish for Ace Garcia of 7th last year. Looking to better that here in 2023. A little bit slower than Tanner Partin across the line, though. And this may be a little bit slower than what Partin clocked in, especially considering how slow it was at the start of that lap. Minimum of 213 there off the exit of turn number 1 for Ace Garcia. Going down the backstretch here. Partin hit 226. Ace Garcia's going to hit 226 pretty fast on the second part of this lap, minimizing at 215 instead of 216. A little bit slower there off the exit. And a little bit slower off the exit of turn number 4 as well. 210 is a minimum there for Ace Garcia. So I would anticipate this being a slower time. Ace Garcia across the line going to be a 40.995. Still slower than Tanner Partin, but not quite at 41 seconds. So Ace Garcia out there with a 40.995 here for his run in Indy 250 qualifying. Next driver in line, our first Indy 250 only driver of Benny Moore. And like I just mentioned, our first Indy 250 only driver of this qualifying session. Of course, 10 of them only attempting this race here in the Haas IndyCar Series for 2023. And not only is Benny Moore an Indy 250 only driver, he's driving for an Indy 250 only team, Hairgel Motorsports. And the number 37, which they have technically run this race before, but going to be their only attempt this year in the Haas IndyCar Series. Hairgel Arvin Alonso, the owner of this team. Benny Moore won the opening event over in the Wawa Sprint Series. This is nothing at all like that race that he won there at Homestead in a stock car. But here we go. And of course, a 49.11 and a 49.95 the 2 times. A lot of speed there for Benny Moore. 222 in the turn number 1. And that may be the benefit of a team focusing solely on this race. They can put all their effort into the speed of this car here in qualifying, and a great lap here for Benny Moore. If he can hold the speed, which it looks like he will already at 225, he's going to hit 227, may hit 228, not quite. He held 227 for quite a while. This might be a fast 9 time right here. An absolute blistering time for Benny Moore here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 212 is a minimum. Remember, Ace Garcia was 210 as a minimum there off the exit of turn number 4. Benny Moore, 4,700. How about that for the number 37? And I would say that that lap right there is good enough to lock a spot in. Of course, we're only 3 drivers into this session, but that's exactly what you want to do, especially as an Indy 250 only driver. Benny Moore to the top of the board here in Indy 250 qualifying. Landon Smith Jr., the brother of the driver who won this race last year. Of course, Trey Smith, Landon's brother. But Landon Smith Jr. going to be his second attempt in this Indianapolis 250. Finished 29th last year in his first run in this race. Driving for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. Coming into this event, 16th in the point standings over in the Haas IndyCar Series. But of course, we always talk about the championship really does not mean that much. At least we don't focus on it too much when it comes to the Indianapolis 250. Here we go. Landon Smith Jr. about to start his fast lap right here. 219 across the line. This is not going to be quite as fast as Benny Moore's time, but he did hit 221. More akin to Tanner Partin's time here, I do believe. A little bit faster than Ace Garcia at the moment. He hit 214 off the exit there of turn number 4. And then this is the fastest part of the lap right here. As you see, 225. He's going to hit 226. Make it 227. Not quite. Not enough there for him to reach that time. 214 off of turn 3. And coming off of turn number 2, he's going to minimize it to 10 just for a split second. I think this is going to be just below Tanner Partin's time right here. Landon Smith Jr. coming across the line. Fourth driver. Going to be a 40.908, just above Tanner Partin by 3 1/1000ths. And that's just how close it could be. That right there could be for the cutoff in terms of making it into the bump day session or not. So, good run there for Landon Smith Jr. Second quickest right now here after 4 drivers. Fifth driver here in Indy 250 qualifying. This is Rowe Ribbleton making his second attempt in this Indianapolis 250. Was a full-time driver this year in the Haas IndyCar Series. Made his first career start on the channel in this race 1 year ago for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. Now driving for the Dutch Atlantis Racing Team. Mercedes Garcia, currently the slowest driver of the 4 drivers who have gone out. We'll have to see if his teammate can improve his time here. Rowe Ribbleton in this race last year finished in the 9th position. Pretty solid run for his first ever start in this race. A top 10 finish in the Indianapolis 250. Not too bad for your first career start, especially your first career start being this race. Across the line, Ribbleton gonna hit 219, gonna hit 221 in the turn number 1. And once again, kind of similar here to Landon Smith Jr. and Tanner Partin. 221 in the turn 1, gonna minimize at 214 off the exit of turn number 2. And down the backstretch, Ribbleton goes here. Looking pretty solid right here, gonna hit 226. And he barely tapped 227. This should be good enough for second as of now. A little bit faster down the backstretch there for Ribbleton than Landon Smith Jr. was. Minimum of 211, though, off the exit of turn number 4. A little bit slower right there. Here we go across the line for Rowe Ribbleton. He is going to go to a 40.851. Good enough for second fastest here out of 5 guys. That's pretty good. And the way it's looking right now, that should be good enough to make it. But still have 31 drivers left to go. And our next driver is a guy who's made a lot of starts in this race. Matt Tuck next in line for Grattan Autosport. And here we go. Definitely a driver with a lot of focus coming into this race. Running as an Indy 250 only driver this year, but driving for a good team. Grattan Autosport, of course, his teammates, Nicolas Samudio and Justin Zajdel. The only 2 past defending champions full-time. Of course, Chase Harris will also be attempting this race, so we got 3 past champions of the series attempting this year's Indy 250. But Matt Tuck in the number 51. Going to be his 6th Indianapolis 250, 5th Indianapolis 250 if he qualifies. My mistake there. But a best finish of 14th in this race. This race has not been too kind to him. We'll have to see what he can do here across the line. Oh boy, 217 there across the line. Not looking too fast right there. A maximum of 219 in the turn number 1. And this 51, not as fast as I am certain Matt Tuck would have wanted here. Minimum of 212 off the exit of turn 2. That is not a good time there. This is going to be closer to Ace Garcia's time. Who knows, it may actually be below, or should I say above 41 seconds here. 214 minimum off of turn number 3, right there. And then 209 off the exit of turn number 4. This is going to be the slowest time so far, and that is not good for Matt Tuck. That may end up going to bump day 41.166. Matt Tuck and Grattan Autosport. Now, at the time of me recording this, we have not done the North Wilkesboro race recording yet. Of course, you guys saw that race last night in the Wawa Cup Series, but boy, they have struggled. They have struggled a lot as of late, and big struggle right there. Slowest of the 6 guys so far. And here we go, our 7th driver, and you talk about Matt Tuck being a driver of interest. Well, this guy is the driver in this race. Of course, a 2-time winner of the Indianapolis 250. Nicolas Samudio has run in more Indianapolis 250s than anybody else. This will be his 9th, assuming he qualifies, and it's going to have a big assumption right there, considering what his teammate just put down. Of course, no ratings in this series. Everyone has equal ratings, so it's a very good chance Samudio will end up being much faster than Matt Tuck, or he could be right around the same time, but not a good look there for Grattan Autosport and their driver, Matt Tuck. Here we go for Samudio. We're going to come across the line right here. And looking a little bit faster right there. Almost 220, actually, across the yard of bricks. 221. A little bit more of a solid time right here. Not quite to the level of Benny Moore. 214 off the exit of 1. And a minimum time here of 214 off the exit of 2. Pretty solid there through 1 and 2. We'll see what his maximum time is down the backstretch. He'll hit 226. Will he hit 227? Not quite. He held 226 for quite a while, though. It's going to be right. I think it's going to be in between Ribbleton and Smith Jr. right here. Which should be enough to advance on and run in the Indy 250 this year for the two-time winner of this race. A little bit better than Matt Tuck there, so Stewart Gretton could breathe a little easier. 48.61, third quickest of the 7 drivers for Nicolas Samudio and Gretton Autosport. Cole Raymond, next driver out in line. Last time we were on the high-speed oval. Kansas Speedway, he went to victory lane in the Kansas 125K. 2 wins on the season in the Haas IndyCar Series, 9th in points. And a good opportunity for Cole Raymond to get a good time here with Nathan Orman Motorsports. His teammate Tanner Partin currently 5th right now. And definitely starting to see which times are good and which ones are not. Now, obviously, Matt Tuck there above 41 seconds, and last year that would have been a good time, but not this year with how quick this racetrack is here. The cloudy conditions definitely allowing for some more speed here in qualifying. Cole Raymond going across the line. He'll be 220 just as he crosses the line. Held 221 for quite a while, and I have a good feeling this may be the second fastest time here during Indy 250 qualifications. Looking good here for Cole Raymond. Minimum of 214 off the exit of turn 2. Of course, in this race last year, Cole Raymond finished in the 16th position. 227 there in the turn number 3. Looking good for Cole Raymond. This may be good enough for the Fast 9 once we get down to it later on in the day. Minimum of 211 off the exit. We'll have to see. Feel pretty good that's going to be in between Benny Moore and Roy Ribbleton. Across the line for Cole Raymond, it is 40.800. So we had a 40.700, got a 40.800 now. Just a 10th off of Benny Moore, who still holds the fastest time here in Indy 250 qualifying. Next driver in line, driver who was fastest in the first practice on Monday, Aaron Abel for NS Racing. And Aaron Abel next out in line, second in the point standings coming into this race. And a great season for him in the Haas IndyCar Series, but he's still never gone to victory lane in any series on the channel. Looking for his first career win as a driver, and what a win it would be if Aaron Abel could pull it off here in the Indianapolis 250. We'll have to see what he can do. 9th driver in line will be a quarter of the way here through the first day of qualifications once Aaron Abel is complete with his time. And already definitely getting a mold for what we're seeing here. The faster guys, obviously Benny Moore, Cole Raymond. Of course, Benny Moore with a blistering time there. I don't even know if anyone's going to beat that time the rest of the day. But Matt Tuck there you see with the slowest time coming into this round right here. Aaron Abel 218 across the line. Going to be a bit of the slower side here. Barely even hit 220 there in the turn number 1. Not looking good here for Aaron Abel. And for the driver who was fastest in practice on Monday, grabbed the bonus point towards the championship for that practice session right there. This is not at all what we expected out of him. Of course, that fast time done in the draft, and no draft done here in qualifying. 225 as a maximum here for Aaron Abel. This may end up being below Ace Garcia, in between the 27 and the 51, I feel like. Not quite as slow as Matt Tuck, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get to Ace Garcia. Across the line for Aaron Abel, he is going to go to a 41.071. That is 8th of 9 drivers who have gone out so far. Not too good there for Aaron Abel. We'll have to see how that stands as we go on. Next driver in line, a driver who's had a lot of success in this race, Zachary Fitzwater in the 81. And here we go. And we have the impressive stat line of this driver on Monday. Going to be Fitzwater's 4th Indianapolis 250, assuming he qualifies. And he has never finished outside the top 10 in this race. Runner-up in the Indy 250 last year, driving for North State Racing. Of course, Davey Johnson's team not in this year's Indianapolis 250. As a matter of fact, this may be the first Indy 250 that we have had since 2015 that Davey Johnson was not involved in any way. We're going to miss the guy, but Zachary Fitzwater, he's still around. Of course he's still around. He's Fitzy. And a lot of success in this race, but has never gone to victory lane. So we're going to have to see what he can do right here. For Dog Pound Incorporated, he's 220 across the line. He's 221. Will he get 222? Not quite. But looking pretty sporty right here for Fitzy. And I know Fitzwater absolutely wants to get this Indy 250 race victory. He has more wins than anybody else on the channel. 26 career wins here. But this would be the biggest win of his career if he could pull it off next Saturday. And he's going to hit 227 there. So it looks like he's going to have the opportunity to pull it off next Saturday. We'll have to see here. This is very akin to Cole Raymond's time. I'm going to guess he's going to be just a smudge ahead of Cole Raymond here. I think we're going to see a 790 here. 40.808. Oh, man, I was close. I was close. Third quickest there for Zachary Fitzwater. But definitely a solid time right there. And we now have a guaranteed driver who is not going to be in the Fast 9. That's Matt Tuck, who not looking too good for Matt Tuck here in qualifying for the Indianapolis 250. Here we go for our third Indy 250 only driver here in single car qualifying. This is Bruno Di Giacomo on the number 80 machine. Another driver who has never gone the victory lane before on the channel, but another driver who has been running in the Wawa Sprint Series quite a bit this season. Driving for NS Racing and the number 80 team, and Aaron Abel, the other NS Racing car, at least to go out so far, to not get a good time right there. We'll have to see if Di Giacomo knocks his team man out. This isn't looking the fastest. 219 across the line. He will hit 220. This is probably going to be around Landon Smith Jr. Tanner Partin's time, I feel like, but we'll have to see if that's good enough to make it on. I feel like it will. I feel like right around that mark, it's going to be good. I think, 9.5, 9.50, I think is going to be the mark of the guys going to the bump day qualifying, the last 9 shootout tomorrow. We'll have to see what Di Giacomo can, in fact, set right here in the 80 machine. Not as quick, these NS Racing cars, as we expected them to be right here. The number 80 machine, though, going to come across the line. Going to go to a 49.33, so just below Tanner Partin right there. 8th quickest for Bruno Di Giacomo here out of 11 drivers. 12th driver in line, be a third of the way through Indy 250 qualifying here on Saturday once this driver is done. John Stewart in the number 25. Of course, the development driver to Josh Williamson. Hey, Josh was in the booth with us for this race a couple of years ago, so maybe he learned something that day with his driver. I don't know. 2 career wins on the channel, both coming in the... Back then was the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, all the way back in 2018. But the first season for John Stewart behind the open wheel machine, for 15th in points coming into this race. And driving for Wisconsin Speedworks, who they're going to have a pretty good chance, I feel like, in this Indianapolis 250. Let's see what the time is across the line for John Stewart. 219, going to hit 220, going to hit 221 for a little bit right there. Not as long as some of the other drivers here. This might be closer to Samudio's time, I feel like. Right around Roy Ribbleton, Nicolas Samudio, the way it's looking like right now. 214 there off the exit of turn number 2 for John Stewart. We'll see what he maxes out here down the backstretch. 226. He's going to hit 227 there for just a split second, so I think this is going to be good enough for 4th right now for John Stewart. That does appear to be where he's clocking in at the moment. 211 there as a minimum speed, and he just held it for about half a second off the exit of turn 4 across the line for John Stewart. Going to be a 40.835. 4th quickest for John Stewart here. And with that, I think he has locked a spot into the Indianapolis 250. Hey, Benny Moore, Cole Raymond, they're in. Zachary Fitzwater is in. So Stewart has not quite done it yet, but one more driver to go slower than him, and John Stewart is in the big race. 13th driver in line here for Indy 250 qualifying. Christian Vargas in the number 73 for Ryan Durrani Incorporated. Of course, this team won this Indianapolis 250 last year with Trey Smith. And now Christian Vargas looking to do so here in his, you get the math correctly here, 3rd attempt at this race, and was runner-up in 2019 to Audra Baranowskis. Remember that race? Jonathan King was going to win that thing. Came down the pit lane, coming to the checkered flag, and Audra Baranowskis stole it. That was something. Never forget that race. And Christian Vargas was one position away from winning it that year. Let's see what he can do here in Indy 250 qualifying. Looking pretty good. 220, 221. He's going to hit 222. And Vargas coming out strong here. 215 is a minimum off of 1. And he's going to be pretty quick here, I believe, through turn number 2. Minimum of 214 for just a split second right there. He may go 228 here down the backstretch. 227. He held it for quite a while. This may be just a notch below Benny Moore. I feel like it's going to be just a notch below the 37, but regardless of the fact, it's going to be good enough for Christian Vargas to lock a spot into the Indianapolis 250. No doubt about it. Across the line for Vargas, it's going to be a 40.724, and just as I said, just a notch below there, but second quickest here in Indy 250 qualifying for Christian Vargas and Ryan Durrani Incorporated. Here we go. It's Jay Knapp, the number 98. Solid season for Jay, and had a great run in the Grand Prix on Thursday as well. Went from 25th to 8th in that race, but we'll just have to see where he ends up qualifying here for NS Racing. And of course, his dad, we kind of joke around with Mike about that. His dad failed to qualify. Mike and Dad failed to qualify in 2019. The first time we did single car qualifications for this race. But Jay Knapp did qualify for this race last year and finished in the 21st position. 20th position, one more than I originally said right there. 20th position last year. Definitely looking for 19 positions higher in the race. And I think he may get the fastest time. Look at that, 222 in the turn 1 for Jay Knapp. And there is the speed that we were talking to Nathan about yesterday. He was in the booth with us for practice, and 215, he is really, really cooking it out there. He may hit 228. Gonna hit 227. Will he hit it? He will! We got ourselves a new fastest time right here. No doubt about it. This is going to beat Benny Moore's time. Minimum of 217 there off the exit of 3. And just gonna barely hit 212. Gonna be a 46, I think. Gonna be around the range of 6. It could hit 5. We'll have to see. Cross the line. 40.612. How's that for your new fastest lap here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? I think that time's good enough to go to the Fast 9 shootout as well. Great job at a Jay Knapp here. Fastest time in Indy 250 qualifying. It's time for Bradley Bradshaw, number 34. American Motorsports and their organization. Definitely excited to see what Bradley Bradshaw can do. Development driver the Derek Hamill. And they've had a pretty interesting season so far. 19th in points. Really haven't been up front in a lot of these races here in the Haas IndyCar Series, but Indy 250 always brings out the best of everyone, and we'll have to see what Bradshaw can in fact do here. One of, I believe, the 9 drivers attempting this race who has never gone to victory lane in a race on the channel. And here we go for Bradley Bradshaw's time. He's definitely picking up the speed here down the front stretch. Not going to be quite as fast as Jay Knapp's time, but still a solid lap nonetheless. 221 in the turn number 1. And this might be right around Zachary Fitzwater, John Stewart's time, the way it's looking like right now. They would be good enough to advance on. Of course, Fitzwater has 9 drivers below him, so everyone from Fitzwater on up is locked into the Indianapolis 250 for this year. Barely tapping at 227 right there for Bradley Bradshaw. If he beats Fitzwater, he is locked into the show. Actually, if he beats John Stewart, he's locked into the show here. I think he's going to be right around that time. Here we go across the line for Bradley Bradshaw. It's going to be a 40.842, just below John Stewart. So not locked in quite yet, but right about midway through the field here in Indy 250 qualifying. 16th driver of the day, it's Thomas Troxel. Driving for Crown Ultra Racing and Roberto Crown Jr. Best finish of 2nd in 2020. Just barely missed out there in that fuel mileage race when Nicolas Samudio won his 2nd Indy 250. But Troxel also finished 5th the year before in 2019. Oh no! Is there an issue? There's an issue for Troxel here in qualifying. We have never seen this before. And he's going to have, so here's the thing, he's got enough time to get back out there. But a problem with Thomas Troxel here in qualifying. So he's got 2.5 seconds to get back out there and start his time. Back down the pit lane, an issue on the 42. If he does not clock in at time, he's going to go right to last, and it is going to be a guarantee that he's going to be in the last 9 shootout. Unbelievable. We have never seen this happen before in any single car qualifying session that we have ever done. But we're going to follow here with Troxel here. He's got, at the moment, you do not see the timer, but 2 minutes, 2:11 at the moment to get back out there. I'm wondering if there was a tire puncture or something right here. But he's got to get back out there and get his time in before the timer runs out. So we'll have to see if he does, in fact, get back out there. This is very unique right here. Very, very unique. He cut right down to the apron there on his flying lap and did not complete a lap under speed. So he's got 1:43 left to go here. And if he does not get back out there, his time will not stand. Even what time? He won't get a time. But he is back out there now. We'll have to see if he can get it back out there and have an opportunity. Be a really tight squeeze, though. He's got to get out there here soon. It's going to take about a minute to get up to speed and cross the line. And as long as he crosses the line before the timer runs out, he's good to go. But if he doesn't get up to speed here soon, he's not going to get a time in. Troxel looking to start his 5th Indianapolis 250. And he has won once before in the Haas IndyCar Series. This is not looking good, though. He's got to get out there now if he's going to have any opportunity. And if he does not get out there, he's not going to clock a time. He's going to go right to the last 9 shootout tomorrow, and he's going to have to fight again. And they got to figure this out now, because if they run into this problem tomorrow in the last 9 shootout, that's it. Thomas Troxel's not going to make it onto the show. This is unbelievable here. Never seen anything like this before in Indy 250 qualifying, and like I said, any single car qualifying we've ever done. And Roberto Crown Jr., no, they are not going to be happy about this, but the timer is going to run out here on Thomas Troxel. They are not going to get out there and complete a time. Wow, what a heartbreaker for this team here and Thomas Troxel. I'm sure Matt Tuck wanted to see that. I mean, John Stewart now will end up qualifying in, locking a spot in, I should say, to the Indy 250 as Troxel has failed to complete a time. Timer just about to run out right here. We got 3 seconds left, 2, and then 1, and that will do it for Thomas Troxel. No time for the 42 as he failed to get a time in his allotted 5-minute session. Absolutely unbelievable, but a guarantee that Thomas Troxel will be in tomorrow's last 9 shootout. The timer's already out. This is not going to count right here. Such a tough break there for Thomas Troxel. Here we go for our 17th driver in Indy 250 qualifying, and now after Troxel's issue, all these guys who are coming out here might be thinking, oh no, what if I have an issue? Angel Gutierrez here in the 16, though, for Dog Pound Incorporated, Indy 250 only driver. And he's not going to make the dip down to the apron. Going to be nervous every time they go down the backstretch for their flying lap here. Gutierrez has made a couple starts in the Wawa Sprint Series, but has never won before on the channel. But no doubt about it, going to be the biggest start of his career if he can, in fact, make this Indianapolis 250. Looking pretty strong there off the exit of turn number 4. Across the line, 219, 220, 221. Going to be right around, I think, that Fitzwater time right there. Of course, top 7, I should say, I think have locked into their spots, respectively, as Troxel did not even clock in at time, so Bradshaw is locked into the show. Gutierrez trying to lock himself into the show here as an Indy 250 only driver for Shane Lake's team, 227 there. This should be good enough to make it, I feel like. I think it's going to be right in between John Stewart and Roy Ribbleton, right around, or actually John Stewart and Bradshaw. I know that's a narrow window right there, but I have a good feeling that it's going to be right around that point here. Across the line for Gutierrez, 40.818. I was wrong. In between Fitzwater and Stewart, that's 6th quickest. And Angel Gutierrez is in the show for the Indianapolis 250 here in 2023. Next driver in line, another Indy 250 only driver, Jim Vincentlef, going to complete the first half here in Indy 250 qualifying. And here we go, at 99 to Jim Vincentlef. Been excellent over in the Wawa Sprint Series this year. Not sure if he's currently the points leader or not, as I am recording this before the North Wilkesboro race in the Wawa Sprint Series was recorded. That's how far ahead I am with this, because this is a major project. But regardless of the fact, Jim Vincentlef has led in the points over there for a majority of the season. But that's a stock car, not an open-wheel machine. First attempt in the Indianapolis 250 for Vincentlef, and first attempt for this team in Webb Racing Enterprises. Drew Webb, the owner of this organization. Had a two-car operation here for this Indianapolis 250, Jim Vincentlef and then Jacob Walker later on in the session. And Vincentlef's going to be the 18th driver, so he'll be halfway through qualifying once he's done. Great run for him right here, 220, 221. Held 221 for quite a while right there. This might be closer to Cole Raymond, Christian Vargas. I think it might be in between Vargas and Raymond here. We'll have to see, but looking good for the 99 of Jim Vincentlef here. Heads down the backstretch there. Going to look to max out here, 227. Oh, didn't really hit it there. A little bit slow right there. This might be right along Gutierrez's time in the 16. He clocked in at 8:18. Fitzwater was an 8:08. Might actually be 7th quickest, right in between Gutierrez and Stewart. Across the line for the 99, it's going to be a 40.806, just above Fitzwater. So I was initially right, sort of. In between Raymond and Fitzwater right there for 5th. And Jim Vincentlef is in the Indianapolis 250 with that run right there. 19th driver of the day. It's Angel Olvera in the number 1 for Trackhouse Racing. Going to be Angel's 3rd Indianapolis 250, assuming he qualifies. Best finish, though, 26th. And that's the only position he's ever finished in this race, is 26th. Both times he was in this race in 2019 and last year in 2022. Olvera not with the best of seasons, 20th in points. A decent run, though, in the Grand Prix on Thursday. And he's doing better than Thomas Troxel right now, as he's going to get a lap in. I'm still flabbergasted by Troxel there. That's unbelievable. But not looking too fast here for Angel Olvera. Going to barely hit 220. It's definitely not going to be a fast 9 time, and it may be right around Tanner Partin, Bruno Di Giacomo, maybe Ace Garcia, around that area. Not looking too sporty at the moment, at least compared to some of these other times. We've had a lot of fast times as of late, with the exception of Troxel, who didn't even get a time in. And just, we don't know what Troxel was capable of if he were able to get a time in. Olvera not going to hit 227. This is definitely going to be one of the slower times of the day so far. Going to minimize at 210. I'm looking right around the 40.9 area. This is what it's going to be more than likely. 40.943, just as I thought. Right in between Di Giacomo and Garcia. That's 15th quickest of 19 drivers there for Angel Olvera. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to make it in with that time. Here we go. Justin Zajdel in the number 23. And the first of 2 drivers who attempted to qualify this race last year, who failed to qualify. Both Zajdel and Chris Reynolds failing to qualify for this race last year. For Justin Zajdel, past champion of the series, the 2019 Haas IndyCar Series champion. I know that was a hard one, a hard pill to swallow for Zajdel. But he's back at it again here for Grattan Autosports. Not really too amazing for Grattan Autosports at this point. Matt Tuck has the slowest time. Samudio, good enough to make it in, but not really up there. Zajdel, this is looking all right. 221 there in the turn number 1. And I know for Zajdel, all he wants is to make it into the race. I don't think we're shooting for the moon right here, obviously, at this point. But it's going to be really tight to be able to make it in. Right now, Samudio's on the bubble to make it in if a driver goes slower than him. Zajdel, about 226 there through the corner. This is definitely faster than Olvera's time. It's right around Tanner Partin, Landon Smith Jr.'s time, I feel like. I don't know if it's going to split the two, but it's going to be tight here. Zajdel across the line. He's going to go to a 40.865. Just below his teammate Nicolas Samudio. He's going to lock Samudio into the race, and now he's a driver. If he has one more guy slower than him, he locks onto a spot. So it's looking good for Zajdel to make it into the race. Not too bad, not as bad as last year there for the 2019 champion. And I bet you this driver is nervous. John Andrews here in the number 21. teammate didn't even get a time in there, Thomas Troxel. And the pressure is on Andrews to get this team, Crown Ultra Racing, into the show. At least to lock a spot into the show today. He has to beat Zajdel's time in order to lock a spot on at a 40.865. That's the mark right now. Samudio is locked into the show for the Indianapolis 250. John Andrews looking to race in his 6th Indianapolis 250 and a best finish of 6th in 2020. Well, he's going to get a time in. That's a step ahead of Troxel. See what speed he gets across the line. It's looking pretty sporty. Just about 220 across the line. Going to hit 221. And looking pretty fast right there through turn number 1. 214 there off the exit of turn 1. And then off the exit of turn number 2. Going to minimize at 214 as well. Definitely looking pretty solid here for John Andrews. Going to go down the backstretch right here. Going to maximize at 227. So that's good enough right there to make it into the show. I think it's going to be right around Fitzwater and Gutierrez. You got a lot of times right there, that 8 range. Got Raymond at 800, 806, 808, 818. I think Andrew's going to join those guys here. Across the line. Going to be a 40.8. No, 40.799. Hey, I was right. Just a thousandth quicker than Cole Raymond. That's the 4th quickest time. And just think if Troxel was able to get out there, he may have been right there. But John Andrews is in the show for the Indianapolis 250. At least Roberto could be happy about that. But Troxel's looking to have to go to that last 9 tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to him. Next driver in line here, Logan Williams in the 38. Logan Williams next in line here for American Motorsports. Going to be Logan's 3rd Indianapolis 250 if he properly qualifies, if he successfully qualifies. 2nd in this race in 2021. And 1 career win in the Haas IndyCar Series. Pulled it off last year at Chicagoland, I think. I'm going to go on board with him here. See what it's like getting up to speed for the number 38. We don't do this. We've never done this for qualifying before. Just going to get a feeling for just how fast these guys are going around this Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Across the line for Logan Williams. He's going to cross the line. 220. Here we go. Couldn't quite hit 222 in the turn number 1 right there. 214 in the exit of turn 1. And another good exit here off of turn 2. Going to just barely tap 214. A good lap here for Logan Williams. And this is probably going to be top 9. He's going to hit 227. Extended period of time right there. I think this might be 4th quickest. I think it's going to be John Andrews' time right here. And looking good for Logan Williams to qualify his way into this Indianapolis 250 here today. May actually end up going to the Fast 9 with this time. Here we go across the line for Logan Williams. Going to be a 40.732. Just below Christian Vargas. 4th quickest so far here in Indy 250 qualifying. 23rd driver of the day here in Indy 250 qualifying 2023. Our last winner here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Just 2 days ago, Lona went to victory lane in the Grand Prix here in Indianapolis on the road course. Won that race by over 8 seconds as well. So a lot of momentum coming into this race for Lona. Of course, her teammates, Zachary Fitzwater and Angel Gutierrez, right on each other, 8th and 9th. We'll have to see if Lona can, in fact, do the same. We'll go on board again. I like what we did there with Logan Williams, and we'll get a perspective here on the roof of Lona's machine. Of course, not only did Lona win the last race here in the Haas IndyCar Series, she is the points leader coming into this Indianapolis 250, so a lot of momentum coming in to this race for Lona. Solid time there in the turn number 1, 221. To see how she does off the exit here of turn number 2. Gonna be 2-4, just barely tapping 214 there. Looking pretty good right here. Might be right around Logan Williams' time. We're seeing so many of these guys who were faster in practice yesterday actually run faster times here later in this session. Definitely going to be interesting to see how it all ends up shaking out once we get to the end of this session here. Only going to be 13 drivers left after Lona here. Pretty solid off the exit of turn number 1. Minimum of 212 right there for the 00. And across the line, going to be a 40.721. 3rd quickest there for our points leader in Lona. And she's looking to possibly win the pole for this Indianapolis 250. Caleb Rose next in line here in Indy 250 qualifying. 24th driver to qualify here in the Indianapolis 250. And Caleb Rose knows what it's like to fail to qualify for this race. Failed to qualify in 2021. It was his first attempt. First ever attempt at a start on the channel. Couldn't quite get it done, but looking to get it into his second Indianapolis 250 here for Trackhouse Racing. His teammate Angel Olvera did not post a solid time. 40.943 for Olvera. He's going to have to see what Caleb Rose can do, though. But a lot of these guys who've been going out as of late have been posting some really quick times. Logan Williams, John Andrews, Lona, all right in the top 9. We'll see what Caleb Rose can do here in the number 3 machine. Coming across the line. 218 across the line. This is not looking too good. Barely hitting 220 there. This is going to be one of the slower times of this session, and Caleb Rose knows what it's like to be in that last night shootout. As a matter of fact, I think he was in the last night shootout last year as well. He just does not have a good day here this first day of Indy 250 qualifications. See if he picks up the speed down the backstretch. Oh, we're just going to barely hit 226. This is going to be one of the slower times. Might be right around Ace Garcia, Aaron Abel. And this will lock Justin Zajdel into the Indianapolis 250, no doubt about it. 23 will be in the show this year. He will not fail to qualify. But Caleb Rose might fail to qualify tomorrow because I feel like he's going to be in the last 9 shootout with that time. 41.015 for Caleb Rose. That's 21st quickest here out of 24 drivers. Not at all what Caleb Rose wanted here. 25th driver of the day. This is Alexander Rowe in the number 12. Now, Alexander Rowe, for the longest time, has put his development driver, Max Anderson, into this race. Well, he's going to try it himself now. Alexander Rowe behind the wheel of the number 12 machine for Trackhouse Racing. And it's been a while since Alexander Rowe's been behind the wheel of a machine here on the channel, but great to see him back. And excited to see what he can do. 10 career wins on the channel. Definitely one of the more experienced drivers in the field. But for Alexander Rowe specifically, it is his first attempt in the Indianapolis 250. Gonna have to see what kind of time he gets here. His 2 teammates have not had good runs so far in qualifying. Angel Olvera 49.43 and Caleb Rose 41.015. Both on the right side of the leaderboard right now, and that's not where you want to be. And Alexander Rowe, once again, just like Caleb Rose, he's not even going to hit 220. And Trackhouse Racing, they just don't have the speed that they want here. And this might be slower than Caleb Rose's time. 2:13 for an extended period of time there through that corner. And I have a feeling it's going to be in between Caleb Rose and Aaron Abel. May even be slower than Aaron Abel at this point. And Matt Tuck, the only one slower than Abel who actually clocked in the time. Of course, Troxel did not get a time in his session because he couldn't get the time in after he had a mechanical issue as he was out there. Alexander Rowe will get a time in, but it's not going to be a good one. 41.102. 23rd of 25 drivers. That is not good for Reggie Fogelman's team there in Trackhouse Racing. Currently, all 3 of their guys in the bottom 9 of the field here. Jacob Walker next in line, 26th driver of the day. His teammate Jim Vincentlef, 8th quickest there at Webb Racing Enterprises. And I know Jacob Walker hoping for more of the same in that number 88 machine there. Going to be Walker's first attempt at this Indianapolis 250, and he has never won before on the channel either, so definitely a huge opportunity for him here, and what a win it would be if either of these Webb Racing Enterprises cars went to victory lane. Past couple of times that we have had set have not been good at all. Alexander Rowe, 23rd quickest, and Caleb Rose's 21st quickest. We'll have to see if Jacob Walker can improve on that. Looking, this is going to be close too. Not really picking up that speed either. 219 across the line, 220. Going to be a bit faster, but I think it's going to be around Landon Smith Jr. Tanner Partin's time right here. At least that's how I'm seeing it to be at the moment. It was 2:13 off the exit right there of turn number 2. Definitely going to be interesting to see. Yeah, couldn't quite hit 227 there in the turn number 3. So I do imagine it's going to be right around Zajdel's time right there. Ooh, 210 there off the exit of turn at number 4. Not good for Jacob Walker here. Going to be tight right here. I think it's going to be right around Partin and Di Giacomo's time, 40.97. Ooh, that's 20th. That's pushing it right there. 6 drivers below him. It's going to be a close one there for Jacob Walker, not as fast as his teammate of Jim Vincentlef. 27th driver of the day. 3/4 of the way through this Indianapolis 250 qualifying session. And after Christian Master, once we get to our next driver of Brad Stover, we'll be pushing people below that line. We'll be pushing Thomas Troxel below that line, obviously, as he did not get a time in. Christian Master, the 2015 winner of this race, the second running of the race in 2015. We did it twice in 2015, both as 200-mile events. So Master has won this race before officially, but he's also DNQ'd for this race before as well, back in 2020. Failed to qualify for this race. Going to be his 7th Indianapolis 250, or his 6th Indianapolis 250 if he qualifies. 7th attempt at this race, and much faster than the past few guys that we've seen. 221 there on the turn number 1. So this is going to carry a lot more speed, though, than the past few guys. Might be right around Gutierrez's time right there. Fitzwater's time, maybe. 2:14 there. Looking really fast here for Christian Master. And I know he absolutely wants to make it into this race and have another opportunity to get a second Indianapolis 250 race victory. He, along with Trey Smith, trying to tie Nicolas Samudio for that title. Multi-time Indy 250 winners. If you're in the race, you got a shot at winning it. The winner, Trey Smith, started 32nd in the race last year and won. So anyone can win from any starting position here in this Indianapolis 250. Across the line for Christian Master, 7.54. That's solid right there. That's 6th quick. Not sure if it's going to be enough to lock a spot in to that Fast 9 once we get down to it. But a great time out of Christian Master. He's going to knock out Zachary Fitzwater from the Fast 9. And Master is in the show for this year's Indianapolis 250. Brad Stover, next driver in line for DM Motorsports. Matter of fact, this is the first driver for DM Motorsports to come out today. All 3 of Dylan Matthews' cars really fast in practice. Yesterday, of course, they grabbed the fastest time with Skylar Taylor. Brad Stover has a race victory this season at Lime Rock Park, and he comes into this race 5th in the championship standings. Of course, as a reminder, top 10 qualifiers for this race receive championship points. The pole winner getting 10, and who knows, the pole winner may very well be Brad Stover. 2:22 for an extended period of time in the turn number 1 there for the 49. And this right here may very well contend for that fastest time that J Knapp said a little while ago. Well, he's really carrying some speed here down the backstretch. 2:26, 2:27, 2:28. We have hit 2:28. Brad Stover looking to get this pole position. He's going to be in the Fast 9 with this lap, no doubt about it. He's going to finally push Thomas Troxel officially below the line. But Brad Stover will be enough to beat J Knapp across the line. 40.658. Not enough. 2nd quickest there for Brad Stover. But looking pretty good for the 49 to possibly win the pole here for this year's Indianapolis 250. Here we go. Our 29th driver of the night. It is Mason Brown in the 53, who attempted this race back in 2020. Failed to qualify that year. I know he does not want that to happen to him here today. Of course, his teammate Christian Master, 7th quickest, and his other teammate Landon Smith Jr., 18th quickest. Both drivers have locked in spots for the Indianapolis 250. And Mason Brown gonna get this flying lap underway here. He's going to cut down to the apron like Thomas Troxel did. I'm still amazed by that. I've never seen that. Didn't think that would ever happen. We usually don't see too many reliability issues in this race. Sometimes we see some of them, obviously with it being such a long race. But on the first lap of qualifying, definitely not what Troxel wanted right there. Mason Brown hits 2:21 for just a split second. I don't know. Master really kind of surprises there. A good lap right there for him. This one, I feel like, is definitely more in the Fitzwater range of that 8:08. But we'll have to see. Mason Brown looking pretty solid right now here in the 53 machine. He's not going to hit 2:27 in the turn number 3, but he was 2:26 for a while. Going to be minimum I just barely touched 2:10 right there. This is tracking more towards Ribbleton, I think. 8.51. We'll have to see across the line. 40.893. Yikes. Ooh. Still going to make his way in. He will qualify It'll finally be in the Indianapolis 250. But a bit slower than I anticipated there. 40.893, but the good news for Mason Brown, he is in the show now. He is locked into the Indianapolis 250 for 2023. Chris Reynolds, next driver in line, 30th driver out on the racetrack. And yet another driver who has failed to qualify for this race, failed to qualify last year, has actually never run in the Indianapolis 250, but he has won in the Haas IndyCar Series before. Grabbed the win at Michigan last season. And obviously the 2 wins he's got this season as well on the road courses. So we'll have to see what he can do. This is the last team to get out here, I do believe, with Otter Island Motorsports. Yet to see one of their drivers out on the racetrack yet. Both Chris Reynolds and Trey Smith really quick yesterday, and Reynolds looking pretty sporty right there. 221 into the corner. And that in of itself right there is usually a good measure for these guys being able to make it in. I feel like, if you can keep 221 for quite a while, you should be able to avoid the last 9. And I think Chris Reynolds is going to have a good opportunity at doing that. Let's see what he can do here in the turn number 1. Going to hit 227, so that's a solid time right there. I'm looking at around Bradley Bradshaw, Roy Ribbleton, maybe. Kind of just throwing caution to the wind right now with this. I haven't really been paying attention as much as I usually do each year, so going to be interesting to see what he can do here. But he's going to be in the show. Definitely know it's going to be a fast enough time for Chris Reynolds. It's going to be his first Indianapolis 250. Hey, that was much faster than I thought. 4.9797. That's good enough for 8th quickest here in Indy 250 qualifying. He may go for the pole. We're just going to have to find out and see. Great time there for Chris Reynolds and Otter Island Motorsports. Avery Alford next in line here for Wisconsin Speedworks. 6th quickest in qualifying yesterday for Alford. And a great run in the Grand Prix on Thursday. Finally rebounded. Still last in points, though, coming into this race. But a win in the Indianapolis 250. And it would be Alford's first career win on the channel if he were to be able to pull it off. That would be a huge win for this team if they can, in fact, do so. But right now the focus is getting in. And he needs to officially beat, let's see, Bruno Di Giacomo's time right here. Bruno Di Giacomo, the driver to beat, a 40.933 to lock a spot. He's already 220 across the line. 221. He's going to hit 222. We're looking at another really quick time. And Alford may be going for the pole tomorrow here with this one. Looking really quick right there in the number 13. Let's see what he caps out here down the backstretch. 225, 226. He's going to hit 7. Not going to quite hit 8. 216 is a minimum off the exit of turn number 3. I feel like this is going to be right around Benny Moore's time. Benny Moore, Lona, right around that time. But it'll be good enough for Avery Alford to easily lock a spot onto the show. And he's going to be going for the pole tomorrow as well. 725. Actually, he's not locked in yet. Just below Christian Vargas there in 6th. Great run for Alford, though. In the number 13, he will be in the show for the Indianapolis 250. Starting the recording a little early for this guy. Chase Harris, number 31. The last Indy 250 only driver. Actually, next to last Indy 250 only driver. Forgot about Skylar Taylor. They're going to be first or the last driver to go out here today. But Chase Harris here, teammate to Avery Alford there at Wisconsin Speedworks. And this team definitely looking pretty strong there, especially after the time Alford put down. John Stewart with a relatively solid time there in 15th. So Chase Harris definitely a guy to watch out for here in this race, especially considering what he did in 2020 in the Haas IndyCar Series. 5 wins on the season. But the one time he was in this race, finished in the 21st position, so going to be interesting to see if he can better that, if he can make it into the show, and that's the big thing. He's got to beat, let's see here, still got to beat Bruno Di Giacomo's time here, 40.933 to lock a spot in. Tanner Partin is in the show, so right there between Partin and Di Giacomo is the line. So if everyone is faster than Di Giacomo, then Di Giacomo's going to have to go to the last 9 shootout tomorrow. It's going to be interesting with Angel Olvera, Jacob Walker right around that line here. Again, we only have 5 drivers left here. We're just going to have to see how it all goes down. Chase Harris in the 31. I anticipate a very good lap out of Harris. See what he is across the line. He's definitely picking up that speed. He'll be 220 before he crosses it, so that's a good indicator right there. Not going to hit 222, so He might not make it into the Fast 9 right here. Keep on, guessing right around Fitzwater's time, but I can't even remember what Fitzwater did in terms of his miles per hour on his lap here. We'll see what Harris does down the backstretch. Trying to get that win to go to his advantage. 2:27 for an extended period of time. Definitely a faster lap right here. I don't know. I'm feeling like this might be closer to Alfred's time here. This may be good enough for the Fast 9 shootout here. We're just going to have to wait and see as he crosses the line. Minimize the 2:11 off the exit of turn 4. Chase Harris across the line, going to go 40.736. That is good enough for 8th. Hasn't locked a spot into the Fast 9, but he's going to be in the show for the Indianapolis 250 right there. And he may be going for the pole tomorrow here in this Indianapolis 250. Noah Clifton out next in the number 94 for DM Motorsports. They were fast with Brad Stover. We'll see if they're fast here with Noah Clifton. We'd like to mention drivers who are officially going to the last 9 shootout. Caleb Rose, Aaron Abel, Alexander Rowe, Matt Tuck, and Thomas Troxell. That's a really strong group of drivers right there. Of course, Caleb Rose has failed to qualify before. He's going to have to go after it again. Going to be fascinating. That mark is right there at the 41-second mark, but if Noah Clifton is faster than a 40.995, Ace Garcia is going to be below that line. Giacomo still on the bubble. If Clifton is slower than Giacomo, which it doesn't look like he will be, Giacomo's going to be really close to making it in here. Good lap there. Good entry in the 1 for Noah Clifton. That might be enough for him to get a good enough time. I don't know. It's going to be Fast 9 material here for this lap for Noah Clifton, but really all you need to do is just make it into the show, and Clifton doing what he needs to do right here in order to do so. He's not going to hit 2. Oh, he just barely tapped 227 there in the turn number 3. Good lap here out of Noah Clifton, but not fast enough, I don't think, for the Fast 9. I'm looking probably, I don't even know at this point. Those times that are, in the 8s happened so long ago, I don't even remember what their miles per hour were. Well, that's a good measure right there. 8.58. Clifton's in the show, 19th quickest. He is locked into the Indy 250, but not as good of a starting position, I think, as he would have hoped. But regardless of the fact, he's still going to be in the race, and that is what counts. 3 drivers left here. Eric Drew next in line for Indy 250 qualifying. Eric Drew in the number 52, next driver in line. Of course, Clifton just pushed Ace Garcia below the red line. Now Jacob Walker on the bubble, 40.970. And Bruno Di Giacomo still on the bubble. If everyone is faster than Di Giacomo here, these last 3 drivers, Di Giacomo is going to have to go to the last 9 shootout. Eric Drew in the ride that effectively won this race last year for Ryan Durrani Incorporated when Trey Smith drove for this team. Renumbered to 52 this year, but Eric Drew, a pretty good year for him. 11th in points in his rookie campaign here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Let's see what he can do here in qualifying. Coming across the line. Oh, 220 already. 221. He's going to hit 222. These RDI cars are fast. Vargas was 5th quickest there at a 40.724. And Eric Drew looking to get something to go his way here in this Indy 250 qualifying session. He barely hit 214. This may be one of the fastest times that we have seen so far here in Indy 250 qualifying. Look at how long he was in 227 right there. This is going to be good enough for the Fast 9, no doubt about it. This is going to push Jacob Walker outside the top 27. Walker's going to have to go to the last 9 shootout. Eric Drew, he's going to be going for the pole tomorrow. His lap time going to be a 40.747. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. He's 9th. Kind of slowed it down there near the end of that lap. That's going to lock Logan Williams into the Fast 9. Chase Harris and Eric Drew still on the bubble as Trey Smith and Skylar Taylor still left to go out here in Indy 250 qualifying. And here we go for our defending Indianapolis 250 champion of Trey Smith. Won this race in a legendary battle with Zachary Fitzwater last year while driving for Ryan Durrani Incorporated. Of course, Ryan Durrani's got both of his drivers inside the Fast 9 currently, but Eric Drew right there on the bubble. And of course, still the time to beat is Bruno Di Giacomo at a 40.933. And if both Trey Smith and Skylar Taylor are faster than that 49.33, Di Giacomo's going to be in the last 9 shootout. We know Jacob Walker's going to be in it. Angel Olvera is on the chopping block right now here. And he's got the defending Indy 250 champion waiting in the wings here. It's going to be very interesting to see where Trey Smith ends up falling. Of course, second fastest in practice yesterday. And obviously that was with the draft. And the same goes for Skylar Taylor as well. But Trey Smith, the fastest of the full-time drivers. And even though he's not going to get that bonus point because he wasn't the fastest yesterday, definitely a great season for him nonetheless. 7th in points coming into this race. Won at Richmond earlier this year. And driving the 79 Hers machine 6 times, this scheme has won in the Haas IndyCar Series. Of course, Chase Harris used to drive it, drove it back in 2020 when he won 5 times that season en route to his championship. And Chase Harris also on the bubble. He's hoping that Trey Smith isn't faster than him, because if that is not the case, then Harris going to lock into that fast 6 and go for the pole. And he, along with Benny Moore, the two Indy 250 only drivers currently inside that top 9. Here we go for the number 79. Go on board here on his warm-up lap, the flying lap here for the 79. Be really careful there on the apron. We're going to see that in the race if we get a green flag pit stop next week. These guys will have to come off that apron there and merge back onto the racetrack cleanly. All the way up to gear 6 there, entering turn number 3. Trey Smith going to be in a great opportunity to possibly get this pole position if he can have a good run across the line here. We'll see what he ends up clocking in at. Coming across the yard of bricks. Going to be 2:19 across the line. It's not going to be a fast 9 time for Trey Smith, but I think it's going to be fast enough to lock in. All he needs to do is beat Giacomo's time of a 49.33. And right now, he's in a good position to do so, I do believe. See where he maxes out at here down the backstretch, 2:26. He's going to hit 2:27, so that's good right there. I don't think it's going to go above that green line, which means Chase Harris is going to be in the fast 9. But I'm not even going to guess where it's going to be. We're just going to go ahead and watch Trey Smith go around. 2:11 is a minimum right there for the 79 machine. Across the line for a defending Indy 250 champion. He's going to be starting better than he did last year. 8:21. That's 17th for Trey Smith. He's in the show for the 2023 Indianapolis 250 as the defending Indianapolis 250 champion. One driver left, the fastest in practice yesterday, Skylar Taylor in the number 9 for DM Motorsports. And here we go, our last driver here in Indy 250 qualifying day number 1, Skylar Taylor in the number 9. He's never made a start before in the Haas IndyCar Series, but 2 wins over in the Wawa Sprint Series. DM Motorsports has been incredibly quick here today. More particularly with Brad Stover, I should say. Noah Clifton will be in the race 21st quickest right now. And all Skylar Taylor needs to do to make it into the show and not have to go to the bump day qualifying shootout tomorrow is beat that 40.933 set by Bruno Di Giacomo much earlier on. We thought Di Giacomo might be fine there. He's been on the bubble this entire time, and now he's right on the line with 1 driver left. Let's see what Skylar Taylor does here in the number 9 machine. Was fastest in practice yesterday. And will they be fast enough to get into that top 9? That's the big question. 2:19 across the line, 2:20. Gonna hit 2:21 for just a second right there, and I think that should be good enough to make it into the show. Not gonna be good enough for the fast 9 here for Skylar Taylor, but it should be Bruno Di Giacomo here, and that's a tough one there for Di Giacomo, who, for the longest time, only needed 1 driver to be slower than him. And it went quite a while there without these drivers being slower than him. Skylar Taylor will hit 2:27. This will be right down the middle line, I think. And Skylar Taylor will be racing in next Saturday's Indianapolis 250. Good run here off the exit. Minimizes it to 11. And Skylar Taylor coming across the line. He'll be in the show. His time going to be a 40.879. That's going to be good enough for 24th position, but he will be in the show for the Indianapolis 250 here in 2023. J. Knapp fastest here in the first day. The fast 9 and the last 9 are set. Let's go ahead and debrief here and give our final thoughts here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the first day of Indy 250 qualifying has completed. Here are the 9 drivers who will be going for the pole tomorrow in the Fast 9 shootout. Fastest today, Knapp in the number 98 with a 40.612. Brad Stover, Benny Moore, Lona, our points leader, Christian Vargas, Avery Alford, Logan Williams, Chase Harris, and Eric Drew. And then starting in the 5th row for the Indianapolis 250, on the outside lane will be Christian Master. Row number 6 will see Chris Reynolds and John Andrews. Row 7 will see Cole Raymond and Jim Vincentlef. Row 8 will see Zachary Fitzwater and Angel Gutierrez. Row 9 will see Trey Smith and John Stewart. Row 10 will see Bradley Bradshaw and Roy Ribbleton. Row 11 will see Noah Clifton and Nicolas Samudio. Row 12 will see Justin Zajdel and Skylar Taylor. Row 13 will be Mason Brown and Landon Smith Jr. And then row 14 on the inside lane will be Tanner Partin. He will be joined with the fastest driver in the last 9 shootout. And these are the 9 guys who are going to be in the last 9 shootout, who are in threat of being eliminated and going home and racing in the Freedom 50. So they're going to have some consolation if they fail to qualify. Bruno Di Giacomo, Angel Olvera, Jacob Walker, Ace Garcia, Caleb Rose, Aaron Abel, Alexander Rowe, Matt Tuck, and of course Thomas Troxel, who failed to get a time in here in Indy 250 qualifying. He's going to have to go all out for it if he's going to have an opportunity and making it into the Indy 250. And how about Matt Tuck, Thomas Troxel, 2 big names right there at the bottom of the board. Ace Garcia as well, a longtime veteran of this race, and Caleb Rose, a threat to lose qualification for the Indy 250 for a second time in his career. Definitely going to be interesting to see how it all goes down. Well, what a day it has been here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We saw a first-time moment, I guess you can say, in this qualifying session with Troxel failing to qualify, and what a time set there by Knapp in the 98. And who knows, Knapp may win this pole here in the Indianapolis 250. Any of those 9 guys in the Fast 9 could do it. And we'll see it all commence tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. It's going to be the Bump Day Shootout, the last 9 shootout first, and then the Fast 9 shootout. And then we will have the 33-car field set for the Indianapolis 250 by this time tomorrow. Noon Eastern Time, right here on AG the channel. And, of course, the Indianapolis 250 will be run next Saturday at noon Eastern Time, May 27th. Excited for the big race and see who's going to get it done in the biggest race on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Indy 250 qualifying. Congratulations to the 9 drivers who made it into the Fast 9 shootout, and congratulations to all the drivers who locked a spot into the Indianapolis 250 for this year. And we're going to have to see what Bruno Di Giacomo, Angel Olvera, Jacob Walker, Ace Garcia, Caleb Rose, Aaron Abel, Alexander Rowe, Matt Tuck, and Thomas Troxel can do in the last 9 shootout tomorrow. The slowest 3 times of those 9 guys in tomorrow's session will fail to qualify for the Indy 250. Don't miss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Knapp for being fastest here today in day number 1. See if he wins the pole tomorrow at noon Eastern Time right here on Age of the Channel. Thank you guys once again, and I will see you guys later.